You've decided you're ready to start running. And this time's going to be different from times in the past. This time you're going to stick with it. No more snoozing in the morning or getting started with a bang only to fizzle out a few weeks later and lose your motivation. This time you're going to make it to the finish line. And this time you're ready to get some support to help you get there. That's what the Inspired Running community is all about. Lambert here, the founder of Inspired Running, and I'm so glad that you're taking the time to watch this video. What I wanted to do was give you a couple of things that you can implement starting today that can really help you to jumpstart your fitness, that can help make running or walking a part of your everyday lifestyle, but not using willpower to make that happen. And you see this flipboard behind me, and there's 3 words on here that you're going to hear me talk a lot about: triggers, ability, and motivation. And today we're going to talk about how to really create some triggers and how to increase your ability to get out the door running and walking in a way that's really, really simple for you. And then the next video you're going to get from me is going to talk a lot more about motivation. And in my personal point of view, motivation is the single most important part of creating lasting changes in your life from a really inspired place. But the tricky thing about motivation is it can also be the hardest to change, especially if you've spent a lifetime of not enjoying fitness. So to give you something that you can just take and implement right away, we wanted to start by talking about those triggers and abilities. And the reason that this is so important is that when we talk about becoming a runner or going out and walking on a regular basis and being someone who really enjoys fitness, we're talking about creating a huge lifestyle change. And that change is a process. It's not a single event. It's not something that you do once. It's not something that you're going to do for 6 weeks. The goal is to set it up so that it's something that you want to do for the rest of your life. And notice that keyword want, not something you're forcing yourself to do. I really, really believe that exercise shouldn't have to be hard, it shouldn't have to be painful, and it certainly shouldn't be something that you have to make yourself do for the rest of your life. I mean, how much fun is that, right? And the key is that the more you enjoy something, the more likely it is that you will continue to do it for the rest of your life. So what we talk a lot about at the Inspired Running community is how to create that enjoyment, how to get that motivation up so that you have the desire to go out and exercise, to run and walk, and you're not forcing yourself to do it using willpower. So today, like I said, we're talking about triggers and ability. So when I say triggers, there are some really great research on there on something called action triggers. And action triggers are essentially when you commit to a time and a very specific place to do an item, and then you trigger that behavior so it becomes automatic. And what's amazing is there has been so much research on this topic. In fact, over 85 studies have found that simply by engaging in action triggers, when people have an action trigger in place, they do better on the same task, than 74% of people who don't have an action trigger. So if you're going to take one thing away to create a lasting habit, it's something that's really easy to do, is to set up an action trigger. So here's a great example of an action trigger. A lot of times when we're starting a fitness routine, we get really excited and we say, okay, I am going to go out and run or walk 5 days a week, right? That's the goal. And that is a really general and broad goal. That doesn't really invoke any triggers to make that behavior automatic. So if you were going to turn that around and create an action trigger with that goal, it might be something like, I am going to go out and run or walk on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays after I have my coffee, before I have breakfast. And you'll notice that the activity that I'm trying to do, that change I'm trying to create, I've anchored that between 2 things that are already a habit for me, right? It's already a habit for me, at least for me, to have my coffee in the morning and to eat breakfast. Those things are automatic. My brain already knows it's going to do those things. And so when I'm trying to create change, if I can anchor that activity between 2 things that are already automatic, my brain is going to be much more likely to say, hey, there's something else I'm supposed to be doing between these 2 anchor points. Now, the second part of this action trigger, so it's setting the when you're going to do it specifically, anchoring it to two things that are automatic for you already, is making sure that you don't have to have a high level of ability to create the task. The easier the task is to do, the easier the change is to do, the more likely you are to do it. So what I always recommend is if you're first starting out with a program of walking or running, for the first week, don't even worry about the walking or running part. The most important thing is to start creating a habit. So that might look like on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday of this week, but after I have my coffee, but before I have my breakfast, I'm going to put on my running shoes and my workout clothes. So that's something that's super easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of ability. So you've lowered that ability threshold and you've cemented it with action triggers. Another great way to do this when we talk about ability is to do something that might sound kind of crazy, but sleep in your workout clothes. If you want to work out in the morning, if you wake up and you're already in your running shirt and your running shorts, that behavior is going to become much more automatic. You're going to wake up and putting on your running shoes is going to seem like the next logical thing to do. So again, we're going to want to create those triggers and then lower the ability. What I would love for you to do is to write in the comment section below this video what action triggers you plan on implementing this week. So when are you going to work out specifically? And what are the anchor points? What are you going to do before that's an automatic habit and after that's an automatic habit that you can put your workout in the middle of? And what can you do to lower the amount of ability that you need to make that happen? So is that going to be to make the goal to put on your running shoes? Is it going to be to sleep in your running clothes? It might be to put your workout gear in your car if you're doing it after work so that it's already there. So come up and brainstorm at least one set of action triggers for yourself and one way that you can lower your ability. Put it in the comments below so other people can kind of get some brainstorming and some creative ideas on how to implement these. And I will see you in a couple of days and we will talk much, much more about motivation and how to engage motivation and why motivation is critical to creating lasting change. There's lots more support and encouragement coming your way in the Inspired Running community, including personalized support, live monthly coaching calls, and a whole lot more, including lots of support and motivation to keep you going. We're super excited. The community opens on March 28th. If you want to be notified of the community opening, make sure you put your name and email in the box to the right of this video. And also if you want to get the next video, make sure you put your name and email in the box as well. And I will see you in the next video.